Tip number one, get the right people in the right roles. You need to have a good understanding of all the roles that are involved in an agile development methodology and put people in those roles based on their strengths, not on their weaknesses. For example, if you have a person who has historically been a command and control project manager, don't put that person in the role of Scrum Master if you're doing Scrum. A Scrum Master should be somebody who is facilitating a process, not dictating what a team should be doing. Somebody who's been a command and control project manager, you have to be very careful with that because they may fall back on their old practices of wanting to tell each team member what they're supposed to be doing, and that's not very supportive of the Agile principle of self-organizing teams. Also, make sure your individual team members are really bought into the Agile concepts and principles. There's nothing that can cause an Agile rollout to fail quicker than the actual people who are supposed to be your champions for Agile not wanting to adopt those practices. Tip number two, focus on build and release automation. Make that investment in continuous delivery practices and tools. This investment will pay itself back in a very short period of time. You should be able to deploy your software product with a single click of a button. If you cannot do that, you need to really take a step back and make sure that everything you've got in place is supposed to be there and that you've got a continuous delivery cycle for getting your product out to your customers as fast as you can. You want to be able to shorten the amount of time between a customer making a request, your team executing on it, and getting that request back in your customer's hands. This is ultimately going to lead to happier customers and likely more paying customers as well. Tip number three, have the courage to throw out those old practices. Just because you've done it one way for a long time doesn't mean it's the right thing to continue doing. Really assess everything that you're doing and look for opportunities to eliminate waste. Continually challenge yourself and try to find productivity improvements in your process. Tip number four, get your team some training. I've seen lots of organizations where Agile has really died on the vine because they haven't gotten their team's buy-in, they haven't gotten everybody on the same page with really what Agile is. You have to make the investment and make the commitment to a training plan. What I've also seen work really well is identifying an internal champion for Agile, or maybe even multiple champions. You know, having somebody who can act as that cheerleader for an Agile rollout inside your organization, maybe acting as a resource where team members can ask questions to, can be extremely helpful to the process. Also consider bringing in somebody in from the outside to act in the role of Agile coach to help your product owners, help your internal champions, and also help your team members adopt Agile practices. Number five, do not underestimate the importance of executive support. You have to have buy-in at the very top levels of the organization. You need executives and managers who really understand Agile principles and what they mean. They need to have an understanding of things such as sustainable pace, limited work in progress, self-organizing teams. You know, having managers and executives who understand these concepts will really help the process along. A manager who hops into a team mid-sprint and steamrolls the team into doing something that they hadn't committed to is just one chink in the armor for a successful Agile rollout that will demotivate the team, that might cause them to lose focus and not meet their goal. Having executives and managers who really understand the fundamental Agile principles is a key component to a successful Agile rollout. Thanks for your time today. Again, my name is Dorrell from Agile Thought, and I hope these 5 tips for a successful Agile adoption were helpful to you.